Once upon a time there was a miller with his beautiful daughter. He really wanted to get rich, so he did nothing but lie to others. The people did not like this, and they complained about the miller to the young king. The king decided to teach the miller a lesson and called him to the castle. Introducing himself to the king, the miller told about his beautiful daughter. He lied that she knew how to turn straw into threads of gold. The king asked the miller's daughter to come to the castle the next day and show everyone her abilities. When the father told his daughter about this, she was furious that he had lied again. The next day they went to the castle. The king led the girl into a room in which a spinning wheel and a basket of straw were prepared. The king ordered that by dawn all the straw turns to gold, and if she fails, then her father will be punished for deception. The girl looked at the straw and cried bitterly. Suddenly, the room lit up with light, and a small man appeared in the middle of it. The midget asked why she was crying. The girl told him everything. The little man offered to help, but in return he asked for a necklace that hung around the girl's neck. She agreed, and the dwarf set to work. As soon as he turned all the straw into gold, the little man disappeared as suddenly as he appeared. Morning has come. The king entered the room and was amazed at what he saw.
Cool.
The girl was happy. But instead of letting her go, the king brought in more straw. He ordered to turn it into gold by morning. The girl began to cry again. But then the dwarf appeared before her again. This time he asked in return for a precious ring that her mother had given the girl. The dwarf took the ring and began to spin straw. By morning the baskets were full of gold. When the king entered the room, he was very pleased.
Cool.
But instead of letting go of the girl, this time he filled the whole room with straw. The king ordered all the straw to turn to gold by dawn. In return, he promised to pardon his father and make her queen. As soon as the king left the room, the dwarf appeared again. But this time, the girl couldn't give him anything. And then the little man said that he would turn the straw into gold if in return the future queen would give her child, who would be born. The girl saw no other way out, and therefore accepted his offer. When morning came, the king saw gold and was very happy. This time he kept his promise. He freed the girl's father and made her his wife. So the miller's daughter became queen. After a while, her child was born. And one day, when the girl was putting him to bed, a little man appeared. He warned that he would take the child in 3 days if the queen did not find out the dwarf's name. As soon as the little man disappeared, the girl asked the servants to make a list of all the names in the kingdom. By morning the servants brought the list. When the dwarf appeared, he asked the queen what his name was. She began to read all the names on the list one by one. When the queen had finished, the little man said that none of the names fit. And he disappeared. The girl asked the servants to make a list of all the names in the neighboring kingdoms. By morning, the servants had written on a piece of paper all the names they found. When the dwarf appeared, he asked the queen what his name was. She began to read all the names on the list one by one. But there was no right one among them. And the little man disappeared. The queen asked the servants to visit all known countries and collect as many names as possible. At dawn, a servant told the queen that he had seen an unusual situation the night before. Walking through the woods, he came across a small house. In the courtyard near the fire, some dwarfs sang a song that tomorrow the queen's child would finally be his. And at the same time joyfully shouted out his name. His name was Rumpelstiltskin. When morning came, the dwarf appeared again. He asked the queen what his name was. The girl pretended not to know his name and began to read the names from the list. With each new wrong answer of the queen, the little man became more and more joyful. Finally, the girl uttered his name. And at the same moment, the ground under the feet of the dwarf crackled, and he fell into a huge hole. So the queen got rid of the greedy little man. Later, she told the king about everything. He saw that the queen was sorry for what had happened and forgave her.
Okay.
Since then, they have lived happily ever after.